Welcome back to ScreenRant. Nothing like the great feeling of relaxing and watching your favorite silly cartoon. But what is this wet stuff coming from our eyes? Are we actually crying to an animated show? Yep, it's true, and many shows have had the ability to do this over the years. So get your tissues ready as we count down the saddest moments in kid shows, including recent hits like Adventure Time, The Loud House, and Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls followed the adventures of twin siblings Mabel and Dipper during a single summer and ended after only 2 seasons of the show. Not only was it sad enough that the show ended so quickly, but the ending itself is enough to leave everyone in tears. For the final minutes of the show, we watch Mabel and Dipper say goodbye to their friends and family, and the tears begin to well up. Then the bus pulls away, doesn't stop, and Gravity Falls just sits back in the distance. Time goes on, characters get over, and just like all our great summers as children, the adventures of Mabel and Dipper have to end at some point.
Everything is different now.
The Season 1 finale of The Loud House isn't much different than many other episodes. It's the context behind the episode that helps make it feel even more special. In the episode, Lincoln gets his fortune read by Lucy and finds out his day will end in tragedy. So on a family day at a national park, he spends the whole time worrying about having tragedy strike and never gets to enjoy himself. Once he realizes the fortunes are not true, Lincoln gets one moment in where he sees a rare geyser burst up from the ground. Then Lincoln proclaims he had the best day ever. The line is bittersweet fitting because it's actually one of the last ones voice actor Grant Palmer recorded for the character. He was replaced on the show by Colin Dean after his growth and puberty changed his voice too much. Phineas and Ferb had a simple and fun concept, following the everyday adventures of 2 brothers and their friends during summer vacation. Then the show had to bring all the feels by jumping ahead 10 years and showcase the episode Act Your Age. Not only is it tough and sad enough to see the characters all aged and moved on from their adventures, but Phineas and Isabella have also spent 10 years without revealing their feelings towards each other. While the episode focuses on their torn relationship and eventually has a happy ending, one of the saddest parts involves the 2 brothers. It's revealed that Ferb is going to college in England, and Phineas will remain in the tri-state area. The 2 are literally an ocean apart after spending so much time together back as kids. And we're crying an ocean just processing the depressing future. Back in the simple days of cartoons, you'd have cartoon characters like Woody Woodpecker going on some silly adventures, pecking away at trees and delivering his signature laugh. Then there's the episode Born to Peck, which threw of Woody's traditional storytelling out the window. We're pretty used to characters not aging, but in this short, Woody ages up into an old and frail bird, using flashback scenes to showcase his life as a baby bird, and growing up before reaching this old bird age. The episode enters some pretty dark territory as Woody nears the edge of a large cliff and plummets off to his supposed goodbye to the world. Not all is sad though, as he somehow lands in the Fountain of Youth and is instantly turned young again. The crazy stories, animation, and hijinks on Teen Titans Go do not lead to many serious moments. But dig deep between the layers and you'll find plenty of sadness in the bright and fast-paced Cartoon Network staple. Just take the episode Sandwich Thief, for example. In the episode, Robin's goal is to find the person who stole his sandwich. But he ends up using a lie detector to question Starfire about his feelings for him. Question after question, and it becomes pretty clear, despite having feelings for her for years, Starfire will never fall for Robin.
Could you learn to love me? No. Very well.
Even sadder is the episode's glimpse into the future. Beast Boy attempts to contact his future self, only to realize he's already dead, and there's no future self to contact. Must be a pretty tough concept to accept. For a show featuring a milkshake, meatball, and box of fries for main characters, you wouldn't think there would be too many tear-shedding moments. But this is not the case when watching the episode Party All the Time. After noticing a protrusion on Frylock's face, the character sees a doctor and learns he has malignant melanoma. The diagnosis is not played for gags, as we watch the box of fries go through the struggle of accepting a cancer diagnosis. It's not only hard to see Frylock start to lose fries and become depressed, but the scene where Meatwad, Shake, and Carl hug each other for support was a true sign of how cancer affects everyone around us.
You need to grieve right now. Grieve.
Doug's already pretty melodramatic as it is, but leave it to a Christmas special to really turn the drama up a notch and have us in tears just days before good old St. Nick arrives. The Doug Christmas special featured a story where Porkchop went to save Bibi from a dangerous patch of ice, only to be accused of biting her. As a result, Porkchop gets taken away from Doug, and we have to watch and see Porkchop get driven away before Doug even had a chance to say goodbye. Thankfully, by the time we used our soft Christmas stockings to soak up the tears, the duo was reunited, and Porkchop was able to return home once again. On multiple versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we're so used to seeing pizza-eating turtles. And crazy fly mutations, it's easy to forget the origin of these characters. Leave it to the wise turtle to remind us of the sad backstory. In the original series episode, Splinter No More, Splinter desires to be human once again, but learns he must accept his life as an oversized rat. He even had the chance to turn himself human, but destroyed Shredder's machine because it would have vanquished the turtles. The ultimate sacrifice has had its toll on the old rat, and we see a lot of this emotion come out during this episode. And all it took was one sullen monologue to have Splinter gain a lifetime of respect from all of us. Look! Another great episode of Alvin and the Chipmunks, the classic style no less. What are these singing monks up to these days? They have a new pet kitten, and they named it Cookie Chomper the Third. So adorable. Wait, why is this cat going outside? Don't go in the road. Okay, it's in the road. Surely they won't. Oh no. No, they did it. They killed a kitten on Alvin and the Chipmunks. Please make it a dream. Okay, it's not a dream. Just at least please don't sing about the kitten with a flashback montage to all your adventures with it. Oh boy, they're doing it too. Alvin! Why are you making us cry? So after singing and mourning the poor kitten, what do the Chipmunks do? Go out and buy a puppy. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to us either. Gravity Falls may have been filled with crazy monsters, goofy comedy, and fun hijinks, but it was never short of emotional moments. Just take a look at the episode Into the Bunker when Dipper thinks Wendy is hurt, or even dead, inside of a cavern. The poor boy lets the emotions get the best of him. At the same time, we're trying to hold back tears, so is Dipper as he tries to awaken Wendy, and then confesses his love for her in a very emotional fashion. Turns out the body he was grasping to wasn't the actual Wendy, but a shapeshifter. In a twist, the real Wendy was listening in the shadows, hearing everything Dipper had to say. For those of you with kids, younger siblings, or keeping up with the modern shows on Disney Junior, you know you can't resist a good episode of Muppet Babies. Just when you're laughing at Gonzo's one-liners or Miss Piggy's outbursts, you'll quickly realize you're bawling at a show created for preschool-aged children during the episode Animal Kong. In the episode, Animal becomes extremely upset when he cannot play his drums during quiet time. To help calm him down, Summer sings the song I've Been There, Buddy. And the slow chords and emotional lyrics will have many viewers feeling all the sadness creep up just as tears slowly roll down Animal's cheek. We've all been there, and somehow Animal is able to bring the sadness out of all of us. In the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, we already feel a close connection between Hiccup and his dragon Toothless. But their relationship is explored even further in the television show Riders of Berk. In the episode In Dragons We Trust, all of the dragons in Berk are being blamed for bad events happening on the island. To help make peace in the village, Hiccup and the other teens are forced to relocate their dragons to an island. Knowing the bond between Hiccup and Toothless, it's hard to once again see them part. After you've seen the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, seeing this scene is even harder considering how little time they have together as teenagers. Can we get a quick dragon flame to help dry up these tears? 13. Oh, the adventures of Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy has crazy amount of intelligence, which he often uses for good. Sadly, even as a young boy, Jimmy realizes his ability to be so smart also can turn him into an outcast. He is made fun of his friends, isolated, and often wonders if it's worth being smart. This all comes to a head in the episode The N-Men. When a mutation turns Jimmy into a giant monster, all he can think about is the way he's been mistreated by friends and others over the years. The revelation is hard to take for viewers, and made even more emotional by Cindy's apology and admission to having feelings for Jimmy after all this time. What started out as a fun superhero adventure got pretty emotional real quick. Some of the saddest moments in the movie Big Hero 6 are seeing Hero deal with the loss of his brother Tadashi. The theme of loss and grieving is carried over even further on the animated series and in the episode Obake Yashiki. In the story, Hiro is unknowingly fitted with augmented reality lenses, and he begins seeing his brother alive and living everyday life. He quickly catches on that his brother is not alive again. It was merely an illusion. Seeing these revelations makes the death feel fresh all over again.
It was so real.
And seeing the anguish Hiro goes through in the episode is almost like pure torture. To make things even sadder, just load up Big Hero 6 again and watch those scenes all over. Lion Guard is supposed to be a show for younger fans, but there are many moments which can bring on the feels for people of all ages. There's the whole premise of the show and how Kion never got to meet his grandfather Mufasa. Thankfully, flashbacks don't show the whole stampede scene over again. Flash forward a few episodes to Can't Wait to Be Queen, and we have the whole animal kingdom dealing with the death of an elephant. Simba and Nala go on a journey to an elephant funeral, and we realize how quickly, while we may love singing The Circle of Life, it's pretty tough to see on the screen. At least Simba flubs on his funeral speech and gives us a few laughs while we try and mourn the passing of the elephant.
He always made us laugh.
Losing pets seems to be a common theme among cartoons, and most likely the first type of death many children have to deal with. The classic show Recess takes this topic head on, with the episode Speedy, We Hardly Knew Ye.
Speedy?
In the story, not only do we grieve over the loss of the class pet hamster, but the show throws in a major twist. The hamster Speedy has died and been replaced a countless number of times over the years, just given the same name. So none of the other versions of Speedy have never had proper send-offs, and no one except the person replacing the pet knew it was actually dead. Once school alumni and teachers come to pay their respects for Speedy, do you truly understand the full scope and connection the small class pet had?
How could one hamster have so many friends?
Yep, we're back again to Gravity Falls, the show that never seems to quit tugging at our emotional core. The finale presented a lot of dramatic moments, including one where Uncle Stan has his memory erased. All of the reactions to this are pretty hard to watch, but none more than poor Mabel, who nearly has a meltdown when her great-uncle can no longer remember her.
Hey there, kiddo.
Of course, we all assumed he would get his memories back, and he did, but it still doesn't make it any easier to see this scene and Mabel's heartfelt reaction to it all. Growing up is hard to do, and some of us adults still have a hard time accepting our lives as children are over. Well, Mikey also has a hard time on Recess, and we can all relate in the episode Bonkie Fever. As Mikey turns 10, he has to face some hard truths. His mother can no longer walk with him to the bus stop, and his love for the childish Bonkie needs to calm down just a little bit. The saddest moments in the episode come between Mikey and his mom. Not only is it hard for Mikey to grow up, but it's even harder for his mom to accept her baby boy is now older. And one of the final shots is truly sad as his mom hides behind a tree and watches her son get on the bus all alone. What's worse than watching a wild animal die? Being able to communicate to the animal as they give out their final breaths. This is exactly what Eliza must go through when Rebecca the elephant perishes on an episode of The Wild Thornberrys. Eliza bawls. The elephant comforts her with her trunk and then slowly lowers to the ground as she passes away. The thing that makes the scene even sadder is that Eliza's own father helped treat the elephant when she was younger. So not only do we mourn the death of Rebecca, but there's a father and daughter bond layered on top of it. The Wild Thornberrys was often a fun adventure show, but they definitely knew how to get emotional when needed. 20. If you Superman's biggest weakness was kryptonite, then you haven't seen the animated episode for the Man Who Has Everything. In the story, Superman becomes imprisoned, and his mind sends him to a dream world which he thinks is his own reality. In this new reality, Krypton still exists, and Superman has a loving relationship with his own son. Then the hammer hits home. This world isn't real. Superman realizes this and must say goodbye to everyone he has grown to love. And even though we know it is just a fantasy in Soup's own mind, he still has hard time saying goodbye to the son he never had. It's nice to see Kal-El on such an emotional level, and fans could connect with him in ways they never thought possible through this touching story. Adventure Time is quirky, weird, and full of some crazy plots, but the show still manages to touch on some issues. The episode I Remember You actually alludes to Alzheimer's disease and the struggle the Ice King goes through to remember his past life. Using journals and stories, the Ice King has a tough time remembering his past self, a former archaeologist named Simon Petrikov. The disease itself is represented by the magic crown, which slowly eroded away his memory. The flashback scenes and the ending with the teddy bear allow you to see a whole different side to the Ice King, along with some sad songs to go along with it.
But I'm afraid you're going to lose me too.
Oh yeah, keep it going.
Much like Adventure Time and Alvin and the Chipmunks, many shows use songs to express sad emotions and convey these feelings to viewers. The Last Airbender did the same thing, in one of the saddest ways possible. In the episode The Tales of Ba Sing Se, we come upon a scene where Iroh plays tribute to his passed away son by singing the song Leaves from the Vine. Not only do the visuals and the song combine to really cause some true tears, but the story behind the song is even sadder. The voice actor Mako passed away shortly after recording the song, and it was the last voice performance he ever did for any show. Now go listen again and try not to cry. On the Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Rabbit may be stubborn and a little overprotective of his garden, but deep down we all know he has a heart of gold. We got to see this in its glory during an episode where he helps raise a small bird named Kessie. Kessie was lost in a snowstorm, and Rabbit adopted her. After growing and learning, Kessie desires to fly south for the winter. Rabbit doesn't want her to go, and it's tough to watch as Kessie flies away with Rabbit there to say goodbye. Just a few moments after, Rabbit does show up, and thankfully Kessie returns for a final goodbye. Goodbyes are definitely hard, and we see this completely in such a well-written episode.
Cassie.
Wow. Just when you think Helga is some basic school bully with a crush for 3 seasons, Helga on the Couch premieres, and our minds are blown. The episode focuses all on Helga as she gets some much-needed therapy to help break down her life at school and at home. Turns out her family is pretty crummy, often ignoring Helga and forgetting things about her. The episode is filled with tough-to-watch moments, but one of the worst may be when Helga's mom forgot to pick up her winter coat from the dry cleaners. As her parents ignore her, Helga is forced to go out in the snow and cold with no jacket on. Turns out Arnold is truly only one of the nice people in her life. And now for the classic Rugrats episode that will make you cry every single time. Yep, it's the Mother's Day episode where Chucky and us as viewers learn about Chucky's mom, how she passed away, and the very few memories Chucky has of her. The episode is full of upsetting moments, great flashbacks, and multiple times where you'll probably claim to have something stuck in your eye.
About blood this both so much, Chucky.
No matter if you're a young kid watching or an adult relating to the parents, the episode is a great dedication, but very heavy-hearted at the same time. Wow. Go ahead and grab another tissue. What moment was the saddest for you? Did some of these shows push things a little too far? Anything we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content. Thanks for watching.